Alright, that's better. I'm an idiot who don't stream a lot, but I finally figured out how to work this mic. Alright, so I bet you guys are a little bit shocked hearing my voice since I usually don't make or stream or play fighters with my voice because that's usually what I do. But I decided to make an exception because as bad as this year has gotten with all the delays and stuff, there's been a lot of interesting news coming out about a certain movie a lot of people are either excited for, scared for, or all just more interested in seeing how bad or good this can be. And that is the MCU Spider-Man. Now, I have a pretty solid love-hate relationship with the MCU Spider-Man. On one point, I love Tom Holland, I love the character, I love his performances, I love his movies. But on the other hand, maybe it's just I've gotten sucked into that side of the Spider-Man Twitter base, and I've kind of just started to kind of inadvertently hate him. I don't. Maybe it's because I watch a lot of people who are way more talented than me make videos about the fundamental flaws with his character, from the not mentioning Uncle Ben to his over-reliance and look up, how he looks up to Tony. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to see the man in the MCU. People can say all they want about this version of Spider-Man being terrible, watered down, and overall just annoying in the MCU, but at the end of the day, me personally, I am a fan of this version, and I'm glad just to see him. Sure, he could have been done better, and there's some stuff me personally, I would change, but I'm not really going to get into that unless you guys really want me to. But see, news has come out lately that this new third Spider-Man film is kind of turning out to be, well, Spider-Verse. And that's interesting for a lot of reasons. One, we saw how good the animated Spider-Verse was. That ended up being, I'm gonna be real, I went into that movie not excited. When I came out of that movie, amazed. Sony actually, surprisingly, did something good with the character. And I was really shocked. But, this third movie is apparently gonna be Spider-Verse. Or it's looking out to be, from Jamie Foxx's Electro returning to now, which is a big shock, and one I'm more hesitant on, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. Now, it's safe to say that Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is probably one of, if not, everyone's favorite Spider-Man movie villain. Spider-Man 2 is widely known as probably everyone's favorite Spider-Man movie, one of the best superhero movies of all time, and overall just a really damn good movie. And that's kind of in part to Alfred. His take on Doc Ock is one of my personal favorites, and I mean, he was amazing in that movie. You could tell he was having fun, and at the end of the day, that was cool. Now, I love Doc Ock, and, I think his character arc was amazing, his sacrifice, all of that, and I'm interested to kind of see how they do this, and how he's gonna kind of be here. Is it the same Doc Ock for Spider-Man 2? Is it Alfred Molina playing a different Doc Ock from a different multiverse? On Twitter, I saw someone, come on, who was it? Come on, brain. What was his name? But someone on Twitter who I follow, pretty cool dude, he kind of mentioned an idea of what if this version of Electro and Doc Ock are from a multiverse where they killed their separate versions of Spider-Man, and they're kind of going around, kind of like the Inheritors, or whatever they were from the Spider-Verse event in the comics, and just kind of just fucking up Spider-Man. And that leads to Toby, Andrew, and Tom teaming up to take on this multiversal Sinister Six, which then gets me into another thing of Toby and Andrew. Are they coming back? Me personally, I fucking hope so. First off, I grew up with Toby. I'm a huge Toby nerd. I just want to see Toby back. I don't care if it's for a minute or for a whole movie. As long as I can just see that man in that suit again, I will be satisfied. And I hope Andrew comes back as well, because I feel like he kind of deserves a second chance. Say what you want about the Amazing Spider-Man films. As, you know, the first one, in my opinion, really good. Solid 8, 7 out of 10, you know, a solid origin film. I love the suit. That's why I'm wearing it right now, because the suit is amazing. Pun intended. But, you know, it was just an amazing overall film. The second one, on the other hand, has a lot of problems, but a lot of good stuff in between. But, you know, if you look at, like, the Comic-Con reveal, you can see how much this meant to Andrew. He was crying, you know, when he was giving that speech. Andrew really was into doing this, and that's really exciting. You know, it's sad, though, at the same time, seeing someone who had such raw emotion about playing such an iconic character kind of be done dirty. I mean, it wasn't his fault. Those movies kind of failed. It was Sony. They were pushing. It's kind of what happened with Spider-Man 3, the Raimi one. Raimi didn't want to do Venom. Studio said, you doing Venom. And as much as I love Venom, I can respect not wanting to do them. Because at the end of the day, Spider-Man 3, as much as people have it, it's my second favorite Raimi. I love that movie a lot. It's dumb. Freaking love it. But I love it because of Sandman. Sandman's freaking great. Underrated. And, you know, but getting back to the MCU stuff, I mean, if rumors are to be true that this is Spider-Verse, like, you have Doctor Strange coming in, yeah, that could kind of, maybe he does something that leads to these Spider-Men showing up. Electro, freaking Toby, hell, you could even introduce a Miles if you want to. I wouldn't do that personally, because that's a little too much. I mean, at the end of the day, I want this to still be Tom's movie. I want him, at the end of this movie, to grow as a character. And, you know, I think something people are kind of forgetting about, or I don't hear a lot mentioned, is, you know, if this is a Spider-Verse movie, which is cool, there's still one gleaming issue that needs to be dealt here. Everyone knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man in this universe. This Spider-Verse movie, I don't want that to take away from that. If I had to choose between a Spider-Verse movie and just a MCU Spider-Man movie, I want the MCU Spider-Man movie. You gotta build up the Spider-Verse. You can't just throw Spider-Verse together like how they're kind of doing it. Sure, we know the multiverse is a thing, but just because it's a thing doesn't mean you instantly go into something that, like, it's like what DC did with Justice League. You don't just go straight to Justice League. It went Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, holy shit, that guy's dead. These guys are dead, holy shit. You know, you went the Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, which has nothing to do with Justice League at all, and let's hope we never have to talk about that movie. I love you, Will Smith, but goddamn, that movie kind of sucked. And then, you know, like, Justice League. Like, they tried doing what the MCU did in, like, 5 or 6 films, and, like, 1. Batman v Superman, which is basically, that should have been fucking Justice League. It would have been, if they just said that bit with Justice League, that would have made way more sense. Don't call it Justice League, just call it, like, the Trinity. But, you know, there's certain things you gotta build to. You can't do, like, if you make a Batman film, like a new live-action Batman film, and your first movie is Red Hood, that ain't gonna work. You gotta build the Red Hood. You gotta have Nightwing, you gotta have Dick, then you gotta have Jason as Robin. You gotta have a whole movie with Jason as Robin. Then, you can have the next movie start with Jason being killed, and then you can do Red Hood. But yeah, there's certain stories and comics you can't really do in a movie, like, a friend of mine in the real world, I'm not gonna mention this man, but this man came up to me one day. I think it was after he saw Far From Home. and he said, you know what, I want the third movie to have Kraven in it. And I said, yeah, me too. I mean, that makes the most logical sense. Kraven be the main villain in Spider-Man 3, because if the movie's gonna be about hunting Peter Parker, who else would you call to hunt the man? Not Stilt Man, not Big Wheel. As cool as that would be. You want the hunter. You want Kraven. And I don't know who would play Kraven. I'm not a good person at picking people to play people in movies, because I would never have picked Jake Gyllenhaal to play Mysterio. But I'm glad he did, because Jake Gyllenhaal was amazing. You know, maybe I would say Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because I just like him as Negan in The Walking Dead, and I just want to see him in you know, cool stuff. Maybe Kyle Irving again. I know he's already been in the MCU, but I like him. I like that guy. But you know, he basically said, yeah, I want the third film to be Kraven's Last Hunt, and I said, what the hell? So you want a 15 to 16-year-old kid to get shot, buried alive, Kraven, who just now showed up for the first time, to take his identity, and then the movie end with him killing himself. And he looked at me straight in the face and he said, yeah. And I laughed. I was like, damn, this guy's crazy. But yeah, you can't just go Kraven's Last Hunt for Kraven's first movie. I mean, you can. It's dumb, but hey, balls, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's certain things you gotta build up to, and Spider-Verse is that. So I say, if you're gonna do Spider-Verse, live action Spider-Verse, down the line, this new movie needs to be a Tom Holland movie. And the way I kind of wanna, you know, do this, you know, I'm not gonna write the whole movie. I'm no, you know, toy boy. You know, I can't just pre-write shit. I ain't got the brain capacity for that. But you know, some ideas I have. First off, Kraven be the villain. Let it be a movie about Kraven hunting him, and Peter kind of having to stay away from his friends and family until he can get this over. You know, Kraven being the main villain. Maybe have Chameleon as the side villain, or Mysterio be revealed to still be alive, because I swear to God, that man better be alive. Marvel, MCU, if there's one thing I hate, it's you killing off your villains, because here's the thing, you keep killing off your villains, and then, yeah, sure, you leave some of the more interesting ones, like Zemo and Hammer, and you better leave freaking Taskmaster alive and Black Widow. If you kill Taskmaster, that's it. I'm gonna be real, we have issues then, because, like, you can't keep killing off all these cool ones. Like, I understand, like, Malekith from, like, Lord of the Dark World, forget that guy. Maybe Whiplash. No, I don't even understand Whiplash and Ironmonger, man. Iron Man is a straight up murderer. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, you can't kill off all your villains. But maybe have Mysterio show up, be like, hey, I hired Kraven, and then, you know, like, you know, Spider-Man beats him up. He manages to get Mysterio to say, fine, I'll unreveal your identity or something like that. Or maybe no, don't even do that. I want the movie to end with Doctor Strange showing up. The only time he's gonna show up in this movie is the very end, for this one scene I kind of want. And it's, he would show up at the end, and then, he would go up to Peter and be like, hey, you know, you know, you did good, you know, you were able to, you know, save the day and all that. And Peter's like, yeah, yes, you know, people still know who I am. And he says, yeah, well, I can help you with that. I've been researching a spell that if I can do it, and I can make everyone forget about all of this, about who you are. I want the movie to end, and you can call me out on this for not being very Spider-Man-like, but I want the movie to end with Tom not making a decision. I want to end with him thinking. On one hand, he can get his secret identity back, keep his friends and family safe, but the other hand, he thinks about it, and he thinks, well, you know, do I really want to? I mean, he kind of, this is kind of what I was going against with the whole Iron Man thing, but, you know, maybe he thinks maybe it's better people do know who I am, because, you know, they have a name with the face, they know, you know, never mind, this is kind of stupid, but, you know, maybe don't end it with, yeah, Doctor Strange fixes everything, but have Peter think about this, because this is a big decision. Sure, it's obvious that he would probably want his identity to be secret, but, you know, maybe give us another movie or a Disney Plus show to think about this. You know, hopefully I want to see some Spider-Man 3. You don't have to show it, but please, just mention Ben. Like, just kinda. That I don't want to see another old man get shot. But, like, say his name, at least. You know, Walter White that bit. You know, say his name. Show us, or tell us, show us a picture on the wall of Ben. How about that? Don't show us him getting shot, but at least show that there was a Ben. Show May grieving, you know, scared. Maybe there's a scene where Peter's on, you know, Peter's on the run, and, you know, May looks at a picture in Ben, and, you know, kind of has a talk, you know, like, man, this isn't how I thought things were gonna go. You know, if only you were still here, maybe things would be different. You know, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting time for the MCU with, you know, with all the delays and how they're really pushing the multiverse with Doctor Strange and WandaVision. I'm not against Spider-Verse. I'm really in for it. I want to see Tobey. I want to see Andrew. I want to see these classic Spider-Man movie characters show up. I want, you know, you brought back JJ. I mean, I wouldn't mind even seeing the ones I didn't care much about. Like, hell, bring back Eddie. That'll be fun. Or at least maybe bring Tom Hardy to Venom in. Or, you know, I don't really want to. You know, you'll bring back Kristen Dunst and Mary Jane, even though I don't really like her. You know, bring back Emma Stone as Gwen, maybe not, you know, as maybe Spider-Gwen or something like that. You know, like the possibilities are endless, and if you do this right with the build-up, a live-action Spider-Verse movie could, in my opinion, top Endgame. It could be the highest-grossing movie of all time. It could be the most talked about for being bad or good. But then the day, if you build this up, Spider-Verse can be amazing. But you have to build it up. You can't just throw it all in. You can use this movie if you want, and I don't recommend, as a backboard to it, to build it up. But don't spend the movie like it being Spider-Verse. I want to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man being Spider-Man. I want to see him helping people on the run. I want to see him survive, take on Kraven. I want to see him in that homemade suit the entire movie, because I love that suit. You know, I want to see his friends and family kind of struggling with the fact that, you know, they're gonna have to kind of rely, they have to think, you know, maybe like Aunt May kind of finally deciding, like, I can't keep, you know, like, worrying. You know, Peter his own person. Sure, I can worry, but, like, he got this. I believe in Peter. I believe he can get past this, he'll figure out a way. You need to show that Peter is finally his own man, and he doesn't need no help from Papa Stark, from the grave. You know, sure, show Happy, because I love Happy, and, you know, but don't have, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. come back him up, or Doctor Strange. Have him do this. Have him. See, it's kind of like the complete opposite of Batman and Batman movies. Yo, me personally, I'm kind of sick of seeing Batman be a lone wolf. I want to see Batman and Robin team up in another live-action movie. But with Spider-Man, it's like, I just want to see Spider-Man by himself. You know, let Spider-Man be Spider-Man again. But yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting time. And I'm scared, but at the same time, I have faith in Marvel that they'll make the right choices. Because, you know, the MCU at the end of the day is something I'm very proud of. Thanks to it, it kind of got me into a lot of more characters I didn't care about. I didn't really know a lot about Iron Man before the first movie. I only knew him as that guy who teamed up in the 90s series with him once. Maybe I saw him in a few other cartoons. And I saw a few episodes of his. You know, after I saw that first movie, and then the Amazing Armored Adventures, it made me like the character. Sure, I prefer his MCU variant more than his comics, because I dislike Robert Downey Jr. that damn much. But, you know, the MCU, like, I didn't even know who the Guardians were. I knew of the Guardians maybe because that one, you know, Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode, which had a different lineup than the one in the movie, but, you know, hell, the Guardians movie made me like them. I know them decently more. I don't know jack shit about the Internals, but I'm happy to see that movie, that hopefully it gives me the motivation to look into them. I mean, that's the good thing about having these comic book movies. It helps people who aren't really well versed in that type of stuff get interested and look into it. When you adapt classic stories, like maybe like Red Hood and Long Halloween, Killing Joke, you know, you do those Batman stories, and people see the movie, they'll be like, huh, so this is a comic, and then they'll go find the comic, because odds and they probably comics gonna be better than any live action Killing Joke or anything like that, because they ain't got the balls to make a Killing Joke. Sure, Joker, I'll admit, that was pretty bold, but, you know, I don't know, DC, I don't think you have the balls to do Killing Joke. Nor do I really want to see a live action Killing Joke after that animated Killing Joke. Because you kind of showed me you can't make a movie, you're not confident in making Killing Joke like an hour movie. And then saying, fuck it, you're gonna add that whole shit with Batgirl at the very beginning, and they're gonna kiss on the roof, and it's gonna be like, oh shit. But, getting back to the MCU stuff, like, and a little idea I had, I think I tweeted this out once, when the big news of baby Toby and all them returning is, my main idea was, you gotta kill Toby. I don't mean this in the way of, I hate Toby and I want him to die. It's in the sense of, first off, I feel like you're only gonna get Toby back for one movie. And you better make it count. Because Toby's gonna be asking for a lot. Toby knows his worth. But, you know, you're only gonna get Toby for one movie, I can say. Unless he's really, really, really into keep doing this. I mean, you're not gonna get a Spider-Man 4 with the Vulture, you know, you're not gonna get Boot Camo Mysterio, as much as I love it, maybe as a cameo. But, you know, you're not gonna get all that. But, you know, seeing Toby just, you know, show up, even for a minute, would be amazing, but you gotta kill him. Maybe, you know, kill him off in a way that fits his character, though. Give him, like, a Logan death. Logan's death was fitting, it was a sacrifice, which is my favorite types of death. You know, it was a great send-off for the character. You gotta do it like that. You know, you gotta have him save Tom. Or, you know, Spider-Man just save a random civilian. It could be some no-name. Show him doing something Spider-Man. You know what? If you really want to do this, give Toby the ultimate Spider-Man death. Give him the death. He's fighting, I don't know, maybe they introduced the MCU Green Goblin, who is just the Hulk, but on fire. Like the Ultimate Comics. Give Toby that death. Give him the death of putting his strength into stopping this being, and he dies in the arms of, well, not his Aunt May, I don't know how she's gonna be there, but let him die in the arms of, you know, hell, you can have MJ there. MJ has to be there. Remy MJ is, not Michelle. And you'll have him, you know, be like, I did it. You know, I have him say it. You know, I couldn't save Ben, but I saved you guys. And that's all that matters. You know, that would be sick.
I know, I should have called first.
Don't kill Andrew though. That's a little too harsh. And Andrew on the other hand, don't kill him. You know, give Andrew his moments to stand out. Each of these Spider-Men can teach this version of MCU Peter different things. You have Toby teach him the importance of being your own man, learning to work alone, and learning how to kind of grow up. Andrew can teach this version about loss. You know how I thought I could protect my loved ones, but sometimes you can't, and that's okay. You know, you gotta kind of have to learn. You know, that lesson. Tell him about his Gwen. Tell him his story. Toby can tell him about his loss of his best friend and all of that. You know, like, you know, his mentors and how he's been tricked by people close to him too. It doesn't just happen to you. You know, I think it think it was Nando View Movies who tweeted out something like, it'd be kind of funny if they're all at a whiteboard displaying identities of their villains, so when they get back to their universe, they just run up on them, beat them up, even if they're not villains. Forget it. Tom's like, hey, my Mysterio's name is Clinton Beck. And then Toby goes back and he runs out on Clinton Beck and it's just Bruce Campbell. It's a used car salesman. He just beats his shit. That would be kind of funny. But don't do that. But you know, I mean, yeah, this is just crazy. I'm excited. I mean, I just hope. I mean, I'm not taking any of these. I'm not 100% on any of this. I mean, until I see a trailer that 100%. Until I see the trailer and it shows Toby and Andrew, any of these things that are supposed to be happening. Until that moment, I'm not convinced. Also, before I forget, now I kind of let not to be mean. It's kind of been teased or supposedly announced that Daredevil's showing up, Charlie Cox. Which, if it's true, yes. If Spider-Man 3 is not Spider-Verse, then it needs to be a trial movie. And you need Murdoch. I would love to see him interacting with Tom. I think he would have really solid chemistry. As we saw in Defenders, he played off really well with Jessica. Hell, even have Jessica. I think it'll be more interesting if Jessica was the lawyer, or the one who helps Peter. That'll be really fun. If I kind of thought if they weren't able to get Daredevil, they would put She-Hulk, or maybe not. They would have Jennifer, but it wouldn't be. She wouldn't be She-Hulk yet because that's her show. But they announced She-Hulk is there. Plus, you can have it where Human Jennifer shows up to kind of help. Maybe Bruce meets up with Peter and says, "Hey, my cousin's in town. She's been kind of practicing law. I think she can help you. She's pretty good." And you meet Human Jen. You can get to know her, and you have some form of connection to her. And She-Hulk. Maybe maybe Craven is the one who injures Jennifer trying to get Peter, and that leads to Bruce doing the blood transfusion, which leads to She-Hulk later on. Don't have She-Hulk fight in this movie, because, sure, but, you could do that. Or, have Daredevil. Don't go like, hey, Kingpin's actually the one who hired Mysterio, because that, first off, that's out of the realm. That version of Kingpin, I don't know. I don't see that version of Kingpin hiring Mysterio of all people. But, have Murdoch there. Have Daredevil. Have him do his shit. That's cool. The MCU, the people want to Spider-Man MCU to interact with the wider universe. And by wider universe, I mean anyone, more than Tony. More than the Starks and all of that. I want to see him interact with the people he's had fun interacting in the comic. If they do if the Fantastic Four eventually do their movie in the MCU, I want Peter to be there. I want Peter to have a friendship with Human Torch. Let him have a friendship with that side, because one of my favorite things in the comics is Peter's relationship with the Fantastic Four, how he's kind of a family friend of Franklin, and how he has that kind of connection, like in the Hickman runs.
Drug deals and criminals.
I mean, it's nice seeing Spider-Man just be kind of like a friend that most superheroes. I mean, there's a keyword in most, like Punisher and all those people, but it's nice seeing Peter interact with that wider universe. But yeah, I mean, have him Daredevil. If you, it's something that, if you want to keep pushing the whole Peter, and Stark's relationship, here's what you need to do. You know what? If you have to add Iron Man stuff, like Tony stuff in this movie,
Definitely top 5.
I want to see Morgan. Listen here. You listen here, all those people who picked on that small child in Endgame. First off, that's just mean. Like, come on, man, that's a kid. Second off, she makes more money than you, so you need to back off. Third off, bring her back. And here's why I say that. I want to see Peter be an older brother to this small child. I think it would be, I think that would give his character a little bit more growing up. Have him, not, like, I want to see a scene of, you know, Peter down on his luck, and, you know, maybe he's hiding out at the cabin. You know, maybe he went to go visit Pepper, you know, he's scared, you know, Pepper said, hey, you can chill out here for, like, a day. You know, like, I don't want you bringing any of this stuff to my family. You know, Peter's like, fine. You know, have a scene where Morgan talks to Peter, maybe, and gives that childlike wisdom of what Spider-Man is to people. You know, she's like, you know, I see you on TV, you know, you're cool. You know, Dad always, you know, there's always that picture of you in here, and, you know, Dad seemed to have, you know, Dad liked you. He saw you as something more. You know, have that interaction. That would be kind of neat. I think that would be cool. You know, have you know, like, you know, have someone, you know, have you know, Peter be the big brother to Morgan. You know, since, you know, Tony kind of saw Peter as a somewhat son, or that's what everyone wants to think. Push into that. You know, let him have Morgan as a friend. I think that would be really funny, or not funny. I mean, cute. You know, there's a lot of stuff, you know, they can do. The MCU is wide. There's a lot of characters that would be interesting for him to play off of.
That debris is trapping someone inside.
If you really want to be really fan servicey, have the kid from Iron Man 3 come back. I forget his name. You know who I am. He showed up in the funeral at Endgame. Have him and Peter interact. And then be bros. Nah, that's kind of dumb. But yeah, I mean, now I'm just rambling. That's really what this was. I had no script going into this. You know, this is just my sporadic thoughts. This is kind of how I think. I change the subject a lot. I just throw out ideas. That's how I talk to my friends. That's how I usually talk in real life. But, you know, I'm just glad I can kind of just, I felt confident enough to come out here and do this. I'm usually, you know, I'm pretty shy. That's why I do my YouTube videos without my voice, because sometimes you hate hearing yourself talk. But I hope you guys didn't hate me talking too much. But, you know, I'm not asking you guys to, like this video or subscribe or anything like that. I mean, all I care about, you know, that you at least somewhat gave this a watch, and you, like me, are huge Spider-Man fans, and you just want to hear someone talk about their thoughts and opinions on the character. I have no ill will towards anyone. You know, I'm not one of those toxic people in this Spider-Man Twitter and all of that. I'm not one of those people. I respect opinions. Sure, I might not agree with some of them, but at the end of the day, I have to respect them because, hell, they're your opinions. I have no say. I can't tell you what you can and cannot like. There's people who I don't respect a decent amount of opinions on, but I like a lot of their other opinions. High Top Films, for example. You know, sometimes I don't agree with, I don't agree with him on some stuff, but I respect his love and admiration for the Raimi trilogy like I have. And other than that, he's just a guy giving his opinion. He's a cool dude, he makes great videos. You know, all people like that. Like, I can't tell you what you can have an opinion on, what you can like. It is not fair. But, you know, I'm just glad that if any of you watch this at some point, you know, thanks. If you ever want to hear me talk about more stuff like this again, you know, please tell me. Even if it's just that one person who wants me to talk more about this, you know, hey, that helps. That makes me feel more confident in myself. But yeah, I mean, thank you for coming. If you ever want me to do anything more, please tell me. My Twitter is, you know, I'm Unhinged Omega on Twitter, at Villain of My Life. I mean, just, yeah. If you ever want me to keep doing this stuff, please. I'm happy. I'm excited that I got to do this, and I hope you guys like me and enjoy me enough to really kind of see me do more stuff. And yeah, thank you for giving this a watch, and I hope you all have a good day. And yeah, goodbye.